Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sensing Spirituality Show with me, Iain Mason, brought to you in association with A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV, where with love we welcome you. So, I hope you've all had a good week. It's been a bit manic here in Mason Emporium of Spirituality. It's been chaos. We've had IT developments and all these good challenges that modern life brings you. And what it's taught me is that that old saying that life begins at the edge of your comfort zone, well, I found out, being a 20th century boy, that's quite true. So it's taken a bit of patience this week for me to kind of get in sync with what's going on with the technology. Because if I stand separate to the technology and say that the technology is causing me a problem, well, I'm looking for the difficulties that invariably I find. And as I find them, I'm already in conflict with them. And as soon as I create a conflict with anything, I'm not able to resolve it, which puts us in a bit of a spot. Now, when I actually take that leap of faith and go, okay, I accept that this challenge is before me, and I accept that there's something from this for me to learn, something inside changes. I wouldn't say inner peace, but there's almost this sense of you don't become separate to it, you become part of it. And in the becoming of part of it, you're working together. Now, we've all had that saying, co-collaboration. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Now, here's me banging on about IT issues, but it's something very real that you can probably relate to. But you take that into your life. You take that into somebody that toots their car horn at you. That's a terribly British word, isn't it? Toot. I like that. Toot. Somebody who toots their horn at you. And, you know, if you get that scenario where you get a little bit irate, you create that conflict. You create that difficulty, and you are no longer together. You are separate from them. And in that space, you have the duality, the good and the bad. And wellness won't ever come from that. Now, sometimes when people toot you, they're actually bringing you a little gift to say, hey, I'm struggling with where I am right now, and I feel it's fit for me to toot my horn at you and blame you for something that I perceive you're responsible for, because, hey, it's nothing to do with me. It's all good in here. Couldn't possibly be me. And you know what? Isn't that true with an awful lot of things we have in life? We get a coffee. The coffee's too hot, it's too cold, there's not enough milk, too much milk. And so if we can find that harmony, just allow ourselves, every time something pushes our buttons, if we even just shut our eyes, a quick neurological reset, take a breath in and out, we can understand that we are not in that experience, we are observing that experience. And in observing that experience, we can understand that we can see it objectively. And that space allows us the opportunity to work with it and work through it, because you will never find a solution if you don't work collaboratively with it. There will always be a winner and a loser. And if we carry on in life like that, it will slow our progress. And to some extent, we will be choosing to create difficulties for ourselves. We will be choosing to create our stuckness and our frustrations about why we can't get on in life. And that's where we need to learn to remove those filters to see life as it is. And we can turn the world around with this sort of thinking, this sort of vision, but most importantly, a massive shift and massive action. You've only got to follow Marianne Williamson in the presidential conversation she's having right now and the posts that she's putting on Facebook. And you can understand how energetically this is being put out to the world for us to change. So I really hope that's a Mason helpful tool for you to carry forward with you on your journey this week till we meet again next week. As I know that we have Erin waiting in the rings to get in contact with us this evening here on Sensing Spirituality. And we're going to welcome Erin onto the show. Good evening, Erin. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I am tip-top, as we say here, superb, golden, whatever you like. Thank you for asking. So how is it I can help you this evening?
I was wondering if my boyfriend's ever going to change his mind on wanting to have a child.
I'm sorry, my darling. I heard the first part of that. I heard he's my boyfriend, but I didn't hear the rest.
I was wondering if my boyfriend is going to change his mind on wanting another child.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay, well, why don't I just have a little look into your energy there, which I call an introspective look at life, and just see what I pick up. Would that work with you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, just bear with me, just while I just sort of tune in here. Okay. All right. Where does the G initial link around your relationship with him and children? The significance of G. What's the significance of the letter G around your situation? I just keep getting G being put up.
G.
I don't know whether it's like a name or a plate, but I'm just getting the significance of G around this issue, and it's coming forward very, very strongly for me. You don't understand that?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Well, just hold on to that for the moment. Okay, because that just comes forward really strongly. G, 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 G. Okay, it may make sense to you later on. Sometimes that can happen. Now, okay. All right. Would you understand that in a relationship prior to you, there was either some, what I want to call spooking, or some either difficulty, or he got frightened. It's not the right word I want to use, but there was difficulties surrounding the talk about having children. This will be something that he would have talked about with you.
He has 2 children from a previous relationship, but he hasn't gotten to see them in 5 or more years because mother is keeping them from him.
Okay, well, don't tell me too much, my darling. Okay, all right. And just hold on to that G, because that G links around here somewhere. Okay, now, I just want to say to you that I'm just picking up this, what I want to say is this spook factor about, I get the feeling that he can be quite restless about the things, I'm not going to say that he can't control, but the things that he really wants to do, but loses control over, because what I've got is this sense of him having a little bit of fear about things getting a little out of hand. So what this feels like for me is there's difficulties with him either getting access or having sensible conversations to keep things on an even keel. Would that make sense for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what I want to say to you, from what I'm feeling from him as I feel his energy, is the hesitancy comes through almost, as I say, a little bit of fear. It's not necessarily the right word that I want to use, but the uncertainty that he's just feeling around making himself more vulnerable with another child. And I almost feel that this relationship that he's got previously, he's been trying desperately to get that on an even keel. And what I'm seeing is the door being shut in his face. I know what you've told me so far, but what I want to say is that this is causing him quite a bit of distress. Does that make sense? Yeah, because it's this unsettledness, it's this uncertainty that I want to say to you, would you understand that in the last 18 months he's been banging his head against the brick wall with this? Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah, okay, because it's up and down, but I just get the feeling that he's either being manipulated or given false promises. That's what I want to say. So whatever is promised, never, because this is what's in his mind is that I don't feel that I can go on. It's like I need to sort this out. And I'm getting this sense of either guilt or this, am I doing enough to push this on? But I actually feel that he's having his strings pulled like a puppet, and there's not a lot that he can do but do his best. But I do get this feeling that he's either feeling separated or abandoned, either he's abandoning or he is being abandoned. And this is something that he really needs to get sorted before he does other things. I know that you would have talked quite soon after the first child that you've got about having another one, and it almost feels like he's gone home about that, because I get the sense that this has been sort of ticking away in the back of his mind there.
I have a son from a previous relationship as well. His children are both from a previous relationship, so the only one that he gets to see is my son on a regular basis. His father has nothing to do with him either.
Okay.
My boyfriend has definitely tried to be a part of his life, but his ex has stopped him, and the way the provincial courts and everything down there makes it a lot harder than it was for me to get custody of my son here.
Yes.
And I know he hasn't seen his kids or been able to talk to them in 5 or more years. He gets the odd picture through a family member of them.
Okay.
But I know I really was heavy on him, and back in October, his ex had tried getting him to sign over his rights to his kids so her boyfriend could legally adopt them.
Okay. Well, I just get this sense, as I say, it was the analogy that I gave you was like a puppet having its strings pulled, and there's a decision for him to take about where he cuts off in terms of understanding that he's only able to do so much without feeling the guilt, because guilt is a conditioned behavior that stems way back to the experiences that we've had in our lives. And if you've got somebody that's unwilling and just shuts the doors or is mucking you about, it's very difficult to make progress. Now, that's very difficult to translate from the mind to the heart. But at the same time, you know, he can't live his life 100% of his energy for something that he's not able to co-create to help put a solution together with, because it's not going to happen. It almost has a narcissistic feel about it. Now, I have to be very sure when I say that, but I just get this feeling of somebody's, in other words, his ex, is almost doing this a little bit just to be difficult. And in terms of him having other children, I just feel that he's very unsettled. But what I got a moment ago was that I just had this sense of him talking about having children with you, but there must have been talk more than once, because if you've got your child, as you've said, from the previous relationship, then the child that I'm picking up talking about is the second child with you two as a family. So this would obviously be the one that you'll be having together. But it just feels to me that he's been, what I want to say is, restless about committing to when. Now, I know you came into the show asking about will he ever, but I've just got this feeling from him about things needing to settle down around this. In other words, he needs to find his own closure with where he is now to be able to move on, because I've just got this huge sense of feeling of guilt with him about not being able to move on until I've got that, because it's almost like he can't cut his ties in some way with the ex. We can't get the focus around to just being on the kids. It's like she wants to make it about other things, which actually aren't really what this is all about. It should be about the kids and each other's time with the kids. And I just feel that he needs to clear that in his mind so that he can move on. And if you are to have more children together, then that's what he needs to, if we call it baggage, but not in a bad way, he needs just to drop that. But he's got to set his boundaries and come to terms with where that is, or where he can help that get to, if indeed anywhere.
Okay.
So I just feel he just needs to get himself back on that even keel and deal with things, because I just get the sense if he doesn't draw the boundaries, he will always have this nagging away, or there'll be something coming up about, you know, oh, there's this issue, that issue, this reason, just because you're being played. It's that sort of a feeling that I've got. So I would say that actually, whilst that probably isn't what you want to hear, having had a couple of relationships myself, which have involved other people's children in my time, and then being my sort of stepchildren and that sort of feeling, I can say to you that it's always very helpful where everybody has drawn lines and understands where the boundaries are before you take another step with somebody, because otherwise you're not truly with the person that you're with now. And if you are making more lives together, it's really, really important that you are committed and wedded together. So I really, really hope that helps you, and I wish you the very best of luck.
Great, thank you.
Okay, you take care. Thank you for calling. Now we're going to move on to our second caller now, and I'm going to welcome them to the show. Hello, caller number 2. Rosa, are you there, Rosa?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Here.
Excellent.
Good,
excellent.
how are you?
Rosa, I'm fabulous, thank you. How may I help you this evening?
Okay, I am looking for a full-time job with a great pay. I need to be able to work Monday to Friday, 45 hours or more, and be able to bring in about $800 USA.
Right.
As an income. Right now I'm struggling. I am between jobs and I get part-time jobs like 4 hours here, 4 hours there. I am with 4 agencies and I just lost my full-time job early in June.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, first of all.
I'm having a hard time paying my bills and my mortgage.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Right. Well, there's a couple of things that we can talk about here, and I'm just aware of. Would you understand a mother figure that's passed the spirit that's with you, please?
Yes.
Okay. And would you understand that this lady in her time would have had not the easiest of paths herself?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, the mother figure, it feels like mum, but would you understand that she would have had her own, what I want to say is very much ups and downs in life herself?
Yes.
Okay, and that she almost had to, what I want to say is fight, struggle, whatever which way you want to say that, to keep either things or the family together there, and the responsibility all fell on her.
Yes, and that's what's happening with me. I'm struggling to keep everything together, the family, the money, yes, the house, everything. And I've been going through this the past 2 years.
Yes, I understand. And I understand why this reading is working this way around. And what she's putting through my mind here is that she didn't have a partner who was willing to contribute to the relationship in that way. It was almost everything was left to her, and it was seen that she had to do it all. That was the expectation. Do you understand that? And sorry if that's a bit distressing.
Yes. Yeah. I do have a partner, and he's contributing in financial and help me financial.
Yeah, that's okay. But with what your mum's making me feel is it's like I had to sort of kick him out. You know, I had to get rid, because it was dragging me down rather than allowing me to get my life together, because it was costing me more on every sense of the word to have the relationship rather than just dealing with things on my own. And she talks to me here about, I feel like I would have had a lot of stress in my lifetime with her, because she just takes me to her chest area. And I also know that her chest area would have caused her a bit of trouble there too. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. And it's very much, she just sort of says to me here that I had to be my own comforter and my own guide. And she says sometimes, she says she likes nibbles, like snacks, because she keeps showing me that she liked her food, and she used to like the nibbling things here. And she says sometimes I used to have things that I like to cheer me up. That's what she says. She picks at them. Now, so she's very much around you. And what she's saying to me at the moment is that would you, I know you talked about June, but if I was to take you back 6 months, so to around the February time, so at some point before we headed towards Easter, would you understand that life literally either fell apart for you or just went out of control in some way?
Yes. My relationship with my husband went out of control.
Okay, because this is what your mum's telling me, you see.
I almost lost him. So when I lost the full-time job, it was a blessing to me because I was able to spend more time with him and see where my marriage was going, and I was to be able to work with that. And now I'm getting my marriage back where it's supposed to be, and I managed to do that. So my marriage is back where it's supposed to be now. And now I feel that it's time for me to get a job full time where I don't have to work weekends and I'll be able to spend time with my husband. I feel now it's the right time for me to go back and work and be able to bring money and enjoy my husband again.
Yes, but what your mum's telling me is that in some way you have to take care of your husband. Do you understand that?
Yeah. And I did fight fear, and I'm still fighting fear, and we are back where we need to be now.
Yeah, but she's actually saying you care for him. So however you understand that, it is very much like you take responsibility for his being, and you provide for him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, because what she's saying to me here is, I feel with your husband that he's lost a bit of confidence, and she's talking to me about him either having some sort of illness or some sort of wobble that took the wind out of his sails, and he's kind of gone back in himself. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, because it's just this sense of feeling like a tortoise, and it's gone back in the shell. And what your mum's saying to me is, whilst it's all very well and good for you to do what you're suggesting, at the same time, he needs to come out of his shell himself and just start to take small steps. Because what she's shown me is, well, why don't you try the Monday to Friday thing, and let's see what he can do maybe at the weekend and build up. Because I don't get the feeling that he's got his full strength back yet from the way that Mum's describing it to me in my mind here. I still feel a little under the weather with him. Does that make sense?
Yes, he's still under the weather with me.
Yeah, okay. So it's very much about encouraging him to make a contribution. And she's saying to me here that, once you take one small step, you find it a lot easier to take another step. But it's really, really important for his recovery that he helps build himself back up without...
Yes, and how long would it take for his recovery?
Well, would you understand that he needs a checkup in October?
Yeah, I am making sure I'm calling the doctor in the next couple of days to have him see a doctor.
But I feel he needs, from the way Mum's describing it to me, either like a rehabilitation check, or like an MOT, like a going over to make sure he's okay, and things are coming together. But your Mum's telling me October. So whether there's an appointment already for October, or there will be some time before he can get an appointment, I'm just getting the feeling that around the October time, he will have what I'm going to call a checkup with the doctor, but as in a big one, not a small one. And the way that I feel it is that by the time that we get back to the same point next year, so in February 2020, I get the feeling that he will be more together and coming back more to himself. That's what I want to say. So I get the feeling that it's about taking each day as it comes. And what I want to say to you is, as your mum's energy fades for me here, and I'll leave her love with you, I just want to say to you that quite often in these situations, it's really, really important that we do support, but we equally look after ourselves at the same time. We need to stand strong and give ourselves time to recover, because if we don't, we can't help and support others. And I know that deep down he wouldn't want to see you struggle. And the feeling that I have in me is this is the opportunity to bring you both together, to work together, to help you out of this. And what I want to say to you is, if you ever try meditating or visualizing the job that you want.
I am meditating every night.
Yeah, do that, do the prayer, but be very specific about what you tell the universe that you're after. So say, I want this job, this income, these hours. Please help me. I leave it in your hands and I'm open to receive the blessings of the universe. And I hope that helps you, my darling. And I wish you my very best of luck. Thank you for calling into the show.
Thank you very much for all your help.
You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you for calling in once again. My name is Iain Mason. You can find me on www.iainmason.com. You can find me as Iain Mason on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other usual social media outlets. So please feel free to call me for a reading. We can do that over FaceTime, WhatsApp, or any social media. So you look after yourselves until I see you next week, and take the best care always. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you and goodbye.